Let me just say, so we're here with Bill Wolf Tinsman, Colorado Academy. Let's talk about your innovator's mindset.
Great. Well, what we've been working on together is a way of helping teachers understand the mindset that we both want all of us to be in, teachers, administrators, parents, and kids. And it really is an approach to looking at learning as much as anything else, in a way of approaching problems and challenges and how to go about overcoming those. And the way we presented it is we really are using the metaphor as teacher as innovator. And obviously that's what we want our students to be too. And so what we tried to do is encapsulate that in a few phrases. And what we came up with is ACT. We are problem solvers, doers, creators. We learn from mistakes. We fail fast and fearlessly, learning from each try. We work together. We collaborate, creating better solutions. We contribute to the greater good. We improve our community and world. Be resilient. We don't give up. Grow. We are lifelong learners. And then we've also taken this set of premises and we incorporate that into an assessment metric for the new curriculum we're designing to drive our student learning towards the 5 C's. And so part of our task this year, we piloted a number of different D-quadrant and design thinking and performance tasks. But how do you say, hey, that's the best it can be? And so one of the goals of each of these projects is that they encourage this mindset. And then certainly there's other criteria around what specific critical thinking skills do they assess, or do they teach directly, and then how do you assess that they're actually being learned. So this is really a piece not only of where we want our teachers to be and our students to be, but it's also a way of actually looking at curriculum and saying, does this further children's understanding of an innovator's mindset, if that's the direction we want to go in.
And do you share these sort of images with the students as well?
Yes, and that's going to be new this year. Okay. That this is a piece that I think as we're kind of building the airplane and it's evolving, I think we're tightening the language that you're using, and we're tightening the goals that we use. And so this would be an example in our mind of how, we've talked about it in some different ways with 5 C's, but ultimately there's a mindset we want kids to have, and this is really the way we've kind of brought that together and put it into language. And the good part is, this is across all divisions. This is in our lower school, this is in our middle school, this is in our upper school.
So as a teacher is developing units for whatever class, they're mindful of this, but then this is also part of their employee assessment, right? So
this
you
is
as a
part
principal.
Of their assessment. But right now it's less on a global level, but more that when we sit down and talk about, hey, you really piloted some great new curriculum. You did a design thinking project, you did a performance task, you had this great capstone project you did with, in my example, in the 8th graders. How do you see those achieving these ends? What about what you developed is pushing kids or teaching kids these skills, because it really is a skill list, because be resilient is a whole set of skills that you want kids to have as well as perspectives as you move forward. Same way with, hey, did you contribute to the greater good? Was this something that the kids really got their hands dirty with, or was this something that was just a classroom project? And I think as you move it towards those mindset objectives, the quality of the project or the curriculum that's being designed is going to be increasingly real world, it's going to be increasingly novel, it's going to be increasingly complex, and it's going to be problem solving, which is really what we believe our kids need to be good at.
And how are you going to measure how you're doing at this?
And it's a great piece, and that's the part that right now we use the CWRA, and that's the closest we can find that is an outside kind of normed objective assessment of our kids' ability to solve problems. Right. But I think it's going to be, as we see kids' perseverance and some of those performance character traits becoming more embedded in the kids, that you're going to hear a little less, let's go ahead and call it what it is, a little less, boy, that problem was hard, and a little bit more, hey, that problem was hard. I like doing that. I had to work on that, or I had to look at that from 2 or 3 different ways. So I think while we are using the CWRA as one of our objective measures, I think the qualitative data has to do with kids' enjoyment of taking on real challenges. I think you see it in the upper school in the number of new clubs that get started. We'll see it in the middle school in our clubs program in terms of kids saying, yeah, hey, I wonder if anybody else likes this. I'm going to put this out there and see if anybody else wants to join me in this process. So I think it's going to take some different views. Hopefully it's going to show up in kids saying, I've never played soccer and I'm going to go out for the soccer team. I mean, and those aren't going to be ones that we can say, hey, we had 2 new kids on the soccer team. But I think it's more an attitude that we want to see over time instilled.
Yeah, I'll turn that off. No, yeah, that.